Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with R again. So, just a few days ago, Cryptic Studios added the easy mode for Zariel on the preview server. So, I went with a bunch of friends and we tested it out. And my oh my, we were training earlier that day on the hard mode in Zariel. Wow, we found it super easy. I'm not sure if the developers are going to tone this up a bit more, but they may just leave it as it is, since the recommended item level for it, as you can see here, is only 20,000. At least that's in a private queue. In a public queue it'll be 21,000. Now, with the way they judge the item level, this is only slightly higher than your epic dungeon random queue, being at only 20,000. So, with Zariel's challenge, the easy mode as I'm going to call it, coming out, it's been rated easier than Tower of the Mad Mage. I kind of think this is a good thing, as long as they do it right, that there is an easy mode for alternate content, for those more casual players, and at least you have something to do and something fun as well. And then you don't have to just watch there and see those endgame players playing all the content that you would love to do. However, you know it's going to take you months, if not a year, to get your character up to par without spending everything in your wallet. So in my opinion, this is a good thing, as long as they do it correctly. Like making the rewards balanced according to the difficulty. First up, I'll talk about the mechanics, and then go on to speaking about the rewards. So, let's begin with a comparison. What makes this much easier than the harder version? So to start things off, basically all of the AoEs are predicted well before they actually occur on the ground with large area effects, those red areas. In the much harder mode, those either happen instantly, the mechanics, so you have to already predict where they're going to be and have moved accordingly well beforehand. And now in the easy mode, you'll have plenty of time to move. The red area will show and everybody will be able to just move. You'll have at least 5 seconds before you have to actually go anywhere, before it can hit you. And therefore it makes it much easier. On top of this, the damage output from all the mechanics is drastically reduced. For one, Zariel hits much lighter on the tanks, at least half as much as she normally does, if not at least 3 times lower. And then the white noises, that being the way to virtue, the large unavoidable attack powers that she does, they are essentially at least reduced by half. You barely feel it, especially when you're running with 500k HP, which you definitely won't have to use on this easy mode. If you look at the comparison here, you can see how much damage we take compared to, look, this is the hard mode, and then we go to the easy mode, you can see it barely scratches us. But we are using all of the debuff stuff we can to stack as much resistance, and we are all at least 500k HP. On top of this, the boss's HP is drastically reduced. You can see we get her down to phase her at phase 1 like super quickly. And then you're on to phase 2, and you can literally kill the shades before they even do the tank buster. And therefore the switching is not a problem at all. However, of course, you guys, when you're not playing with the most endgame players, then it's for sure going to take longer, it's going to be harder, you're going to have less DPS, you're going to see more mechanics, and it's going to be a lot more drawn out, and yeah, it'll be a good bit harder. But I'm definitely saying it's not impossible. However, there will be some vital mechanics that you need to learn to be able to survive. For instance, the wing flap, that is just going to push you off anyway if you don't get it correctly right. Then with the rotating portals, those will still shoot off split second after they show their AoE, so you're going to have to move accordingly. And then the lunge or the wing flap will occur during that at a certain point, so you still will need to keep an eye out, because that could be a wing flap and essentially push you off if you're not careful. However, you will not get the dauntings like you do in the hard mode. That's what I call them, the dauntings. In the hard mode, you get like these big clusters of 8 of them either side, and then they burst all the way across the platform, and you need to orientate yourself. You need to learn the patterns of where the safe spots are. In the easy mode, you get one of those 8 clusters, and so therefore it's much more easier to avoid it. And then also with an area of effect, the hypothermia as we would call it, it's actually called scathing light. It deals drastically less amount of damage, so you'll barely get punished for that. Same with the clusters that shoot across the platform. If you get it wrong in the hard mode, you'll basically kill people. If you get it wrong in the easy mode, they'll barely get scratched. For the tank buster, that mechanic is still a very important one. If you get that wrong, you're still going to kill your allied tank. On top of this, when you reach phase 4, if you don't get the damage values between the angels correctly, you have to kill them both at the same time. You get them both down to like 15% or 20%, and then you kill both at the same time, essentially half the DPS switch. And you need to get them down to the same amount of HP at the same time in a certain period of time, and then you'll be able to pass it. That will still catch out a lot of players. And then you're on to phase 5, which is fairly simple from there on out. Now let's talk about the actual rewards for this thing. Well, you may have seen it in the title. Yeah, the rewards for this easy mode are actually better than the rewards for the hard mode. That being if you don't consider the weapons. The weapons will still only be obtainable in the hard mode. There'll be no way to obtain them in the easy mode. This is, I think, a good thing. It creates the most endgame weapon set still to be the chase item and makes still doing the hard mode worth it. Whereas the easy mode, the best things you can get in there is you can get companion gear. So we can finally ditch our Undermountain grinding with those master expeditions. No longer do we have to grind those out daily to try and get the piece of gear. If you look on my build, I'm still running with a blue piece. I've never managed to obtain that companion gear. At least I have not bothered to grind that out all the time. I got to a certain point where it's like, screw it. This blue item will do the trick and I'll be grand. I would love to still get the purple piece with those stats. Anyway, on top of this, you can actually obtain the new artifact set, the Sword of Zariel, and that set with it is actually a decent set for healers, because generally when you're low, everybody else is low, and that's when you need to heal everybody. So you will have that power buff from there. That's if you can't afford to run with the Tiamat set, which I generally prefer, giving that incoming healing and outgoing healing. And the artifact, the sword itself, is really good as long as you don't have the storyteller books, since it's buffing your HP and your power. On top of this, you can obtain your general premium companions, mounts, your rough astral diamonds, and some seals of the deep, along with just refinement gems. I don't know the full loot tables, and they could well be adjusted, but as they stand, this will probably be the new farming thing, especially for those characters who want the companion gear. I know on a lot of my characters I don't have the ideal companion gear, and that's definitely something I would like to get. In the hard mode of Zariel, the only thing that drops is vanity pets, the new weapon set, the new artifact set, and that's it. That's it. I believe I've obtained once one companion or a mount, and I've completed the hard mode 37 times and opened both the chests with rerolls. And I think I have made about 100,000 Astral Diamonds off the hard mode trial, and that's it. And you know how much I spent on my character to actually get up to par? Yeah, let's not even go there. So yeah, I'm rather peeved off that the rewards in the easier version are better than in the hard version. They could at least have put companion gear in the hard version as well. When we get closer to the actual release date of this trial onto the live server, I shall make a guide video explaining the mechanics, and hopefully you'll be able to use it to complete it. I do have a written guide about the mechanics in the hard mode as currently, so feel free to go over and read that, and perhaps you can prepare yourselves, or even if you're wishing to do the hard mode, that should be very helpful to you. Alright, that's kind of everything for this video. We can, in the future, look forward to being able to farm the easy mode of Zariel. Should be good fun, especially for you casual players, having some new content, a new trial. I don't know exactly when this will go to the live server, possibly at the end of one of the milestones when we complete the server progression. It's unlikely it will be milestone 1, as I believe we're getting hunts then. It might be milestone 2 or 3, we can only wait and see. So, hopefully you enjoyed my presentation of this. If you did, consider leaving a like. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.